All right, third parabola, negative x squared plus 4x plus 8. We're going to start in the same way. We're going to look at that constant term, that c value, and say, hey, that's my y-intercept. So I have a y-intercept at 0, comma, positive 8. And now I want to complete the square. But when you're completing the square, you always want the leading coefficient to be a positive 1. And if you look at our leading coefficient, we have a negative in front of our x squared, which means we have a negative 1 leading coefficient. So we need to factor that out. So factor out the negative from that first term. Factor it out from the second term as well. If you're factoring a negative out of a positive 4x, it means it's going to become a negative 4x, right? You're pulling that negative out of it and you're forcing the positive to be negative. Imagine you could distribute that negative back in and it would make it positive again. Okay, so check yourself. Do that to the first two terms. Leave that constant term by itself. That's what we've been doing. That's what we're going to continue to do. Because now I can look at this and I can say, all right, x squared minus 4x, well, that's going to be x minus 2 squared. Once you have it factored like that, it's going to be the same deal as always. I still have my plus 8. I'm still going to be subtracting something in a way, but I'm subtracting this number squared times my leading coefficient. So I'm subtracting a negative 2 squared, right? So a double negative is actually giving me a positive. So I have y equals negative x minus 2 squared plus 8 minus negative 2 squared, so 2 squared is 4, so plus 4, so I have plus 12. Let's look at that again. So going back up to this step right here, if I expanded x minus 2 squared, so I still have my negative out front, if I expanded my x minus 2 squared, I would get x squared minus 4x plus 4. And then I still have my plus 8 outside. But look, I've now added a plus 4 on the inside, but that plus 4 is being multiplied by that negative 1. So I've really changed this value by subtracting 4, so I balance it by adding 4. Okay? All right, so what good does that do me? Well, I have now identified my vertex. My vertex will occur at the x value of positive 2 and positive 12. That negative out front does not affect how you interpret that vertex. So 2 and 12, and I know that my axis will occur at x equals 2, the same x value as the vertex. Cool, cool, cool. So set it equal to 0. 0 equals negative x minus 2 squared plus 12. So subtract the 12 over, minus 12 equals negative x minus 2 squared. You have to do something with that negative before you square root. So multiply both sides by negative 1. If negative 12 equals negative x minus 2 squared, then positive 12 equals positive x minus 2 squared. And now we can square root. So the square root of 12, don't forget the plus or minus, equals x minus 2. So we add 2 to both sides. 2 plus or minus the square root of 12 equals x. But we can simplify this. 2 plus or minus the square root of 12 can be broken up into the square root of 4 times the square root of 3 equals x. And the square root of 4 we know is 2. So 2 plus or minus 2 root 3 equals x would be our simplified radicals. All right, let's get some decimal approximations. 2 plus 2 root 3 is roughly 5.464. So I have an x-intercept at 5.464, comma 0, and then 2 minus 2 root 3 should give you negative 1.464, comma 0. So those are my two x-intercepts, and now I can sketch my graph. So again, figure out where we are. Notice our y-intercept is 8 now, and our vertex is up at 12. So we're going to need something more positive than the last ones. X-intercept's positive 5 and negative 1, so we're going to want something maybe a little bit like this. So let's give ourselves some tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2 should do it. And notice we have to go all the way up to positive 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, counting, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up there. All right, axis of symmetry is at 2, so we can sketch that in. Going up and down a little bit. That's our axis of symmetry at x equals 2. And let's plot some points. Vertex is at 2, 12, so that is right there. Y-intercept was at 0, 8, so that's 1, 2, 3, down 4, should be right there. Let's use that symmetry. We went 2 to the left from the axis to get that, so 2 to the right. We will have that symmetrical point right there. So those coordinates are, what is that? That's 1, 2, so that's 4, comma, 8. And here we had 0, comma, 8. And up here we had 2, comma, 12. And now, lastly, x-intercepts, a little bit less than 5.5. So right about there. And then a little bit more than negative 1.5. So right about there. And we can label them 5.464, comma, 0 and negative 1.464, comma, 0. And now we can sketch it in. And again, it should be a parabola. It should not be a V. It should be curving ever so slightly. It's hard to show, but you can show a little bit of a curve up there, and you should. So there you have it. One more to do.